Hello, everyone. I hope all is well. If you do not know my voice by now, or if this is your first time encountering me, I am the political brown kid. And please forgive me if my energy and/or disposition, or if I sound like my energy or disposition is kind of in a different zone. And that's because I have to do this movie review. This is a Hollywood in black and white series, and I've been kind of pushing this one off. And this is on Monsters Ball. It's actually this movie why I wanted to start doing these whole entire Hollywood in black and white. It's actually this and that television show Claws. To be honest with you, is it called Claws with Niecy Nash? And then I said, I really need to kind of do a dissection of Hollywood um, from a racial perspective. It brings me no joy, just like it brought me no joy just for individuals. If you're not familiar with this, I actually had to do some studying, quote unquote. I know y'all are like, yeah, right. But I actually had to do some studying and research. A partner of mine a couple of years ago turned me on or hit me to, shouldn't say turned me on to it because nothing turned me on about this, to some white adult website that demeans black women. I'm not even going to mention the name of it. I've been trying to protest and get that website taken down to no avail. All of the credit card companies still support it. The payment portal still are cooperating with it. I got no traction on getting that website taken down, but it gave me no joy to view some of that content that was on that website at all. And Monsters Ball actually gave me no joy in watching it. I was kind of taken aback, especially when they got to the middle part. The if you're familiar with it, the make me feel good, make me feel good. The whole Halle Berry make me feel good moment gave me no joy. The reason why I watched the movie actually, just to kind of give you guys a background before I jump into this review, was because I am a sucker literally when it comes to I don't watch the Oscars, but when I hear that a movie has won something, I'm kind of like, well, why was this movie this movie may have been fantastic. Maybe I need to see this movie because I don't go to movie theaters a lot. I'm not a big movie buff. I know people that has to see movies in a movie theater. I catch movies when they come on TV or when I can watch them in the comfort of my home. And just like I got sucked into that stupid movie, The Creature from the Black Lagoon version 2020, whenever that movie came out, that movie with a lady swimming with the damn creature from the Black Lagoon. I forget The Weight of Water or something like that. I got sucked into that because it was an Oscar winner. And I said, well, what made this movie so special? And I watched it and I said, this movie is horrible. And it seems as though that is a pattern that the Oscars give movies that are horrible, they give them Oscars. Eddie Murphy can play 39 different characters in one movie and he will not get one Oscar because it's a comedy. And so when Halle Berry won an Oscar for Monsters Ball, I said, maybe I need to see this movie. Maybe this movie is fantastic. And I watched it, and lo and behold, from the very beginning, I was just totally disappointed. And I'm going to give you as many spoiler alerts as I possibly can in this one. If you have not seen it, you will get some spoilers because I don't even think this movie is worth watching. So let's jump into it. I've rambled on long enough. From a black and white Hollywood and black and white perspective, looking at Monsters Ball, this movie stars Billy Bob Thornton. If you know him from Bad Santa 2, and every other kind of movie. I don't know what else he played in. He was also in the TV show that was on, I think, Amazon Prime. And then, of course, Black America's darling Halle Berry. And basically, when you look at this movie pretty much is just about two poor people that have challenges in their life, or have people that have challenged their lives, and those people coming together and finding peace and happiness with one another. That's basically what the movie's about. So, of course, it's Billy Bob Thornton, who's a racist, And he is a racist. I know a lot of you Uncle Ruckuses on here and a lot of you Mrs. Ruckuses want to defend it and say, well, he wasn't a racist. That was his father. His father was the racist in this movie. No, he was a racist too. He was a subtle racist. He was a racist that said, as long as you don't know your place, I'll cooperate with black individuals in this movie, because he showed compassion to Sean Combs. Sean Combs is in the movie momentarily. He played Halle Berry's husband. We'll get into that in a minute. But I'm talking about Billy Bob Thornton's character right now. But he's a male, white male racist. You know, he'll cooperate with blacks so long as they know their place. And I'll give you two examples. One example was when his brother worked with him in this movie. And they worked as prison guards and they escorted prisoners to the execution block. And you know who's going to get executed in this movie? Black male. I'll just let you know that up front, AKA Sean Combs. We'll put that out there as well. Spoiler alert, is spoiled. So he'll show you compassion and, you know, he's very professional. But when his brother throws up while walking Sean Combs down to the execution room, he gets mad at his brother and starts fighting his brother. And when the black guy tries to break him up and puts his hand on him to kind of hold him back, he calls him the N-word and he says, you know your place. Boom, 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 boom. And calls him the N-word, I think once or twice. Second instance is when his father, who was definitely a racist, he was a more overt racist than Billy Bob Thornton character. His father, because Billy Bob Thornton had a brother, and his brother was not a racist. His brother got along with everyone, but his brother was a troubled soul. Spoiler alert again, he winds up committing suicide. But when his brother was alive for the period that he was in this movie, his brother is probably playing about a 20-something-year-old male. But he was playing with, and they live in the country, so he was playing or invited these two young black kids that looked to be about the age of 10, 8 and 10, between 8 and 12, 8 and 10, over to the house to play on the property and hang out with him. The father sees these kids outside and tells Billy Bob Thornton character, get them N-words off my property. Billy Bob Thornton then goes out with a shotgun and tells these black kids, get out of here, get the hell out of here, boom, 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 gives them little hostile vocal tone threats, and shoots the shotgun in the air, and of course the black kids scatter off. And also another person in this movie who does an outstanding job in probably every movie that he plays in, kind of like the Tupac of our time. You know, Tupac was a good rapper as well as a good actor. And I'll say the same for this person. Good rapper, good actor. Yasin Bey, aka Mos Def. Mos Def does a great job in the movie for the period that he's in it. And so he has a confrontational talk with Billy Bob Thornton and says, look, that was unnecessary. And you talk to my kids that way, you're going to have to deal with me. So I'm kind of just giving you a backdrop of this poor white family, you know, but they're a bunch of correctional officers living, white males, poor white males living in this small house together. Generation of, I guess, males from this patriarch, this racist patriarch, but one son not being a racist, one son being a subtle one, and that would be Billy Bob Thornton. So let's focus in now on Halle Berry's character. Halle Berry plays of course, once again, single black mother. Single black mother, she's a waitress in this movie. And her, I'm assuming ex, let's call it her ex, because she showed no love towards Sean Combs in this whole movie. Sean Combs is playing her baby's daddy. So let's call it my baby daddy. He's playing her baby daddy in this movie. Basically, that's what he is. She takes their son, who is a super or heavily, or should I say overweight. This child is obese. Not slightly obese, but this boy is really obese. And they have an obese, about 9-year-old or 11-year-old son. And she takes him to the prison to see his father before he gets executed. Sean Combs is in there talking like Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump has a higher IQ than Sean Combs in this movie. Sean Combs is talking like he's slow. I'm like, why is he talking so slow? Is it just bad acting? Is it just that he's trying to get the Southern dialect down and he's just so slow at doing it and just a horrible actor? Because you see the flow from Yasin Bey, aka Mos Def. He can adopt the dialect and he's acting well, speaking well. Sean Combs speaking like a slave in this movie. And speaking slow. Of course, he's on death row again. Once again, black man on death row. So you know he done did something horrible. You don't get on death row for stealing a can of beans or stealing a car. You don't get on there for that. So you know he was just a menace to society. So his character's on death row. He's sitting at the table talking with his son, having an interactive moment with his child. They're talking about artistic stuff because both of them do art. And Halle Berry is standing off. She's about 10 feet away, smoking a cigarette, and you could tell her disposition is totally off. No love for her baby's daddy, no love, no empathy, no anything. Again, there's going to be a common theme when I do these Hollywoods in black and white. The black male and the black female have very little energy together. There's no energy, there's no synergy, there's no love, there's no interaction. There's nothing when Hollywood, particularly I'm talking about white Hollywood, writes these movies and puts us in it. They either keep the blacks away from one another or they give them very little interaction, but they put the black woman in loving relationships with white men. And once again, you see that in this penitentiary. Like as soon as the movie comes on, she's standing off in the back, smoking a cigarette, giving him the side eye. Energy's messed up. So finally, he calls her over to the table and he tells his son, let me have a moment with your mother. And she sits down and he's like, hey, babe, how you doing, babe? He's trying to, he's using these affectionate words towards her. And she's just sitting there like, I'm not hearing it. I'm not having it. You death row convict. I don't even want to hear this. So all of her energy, he's about to die and he's getting no love or sympathy from this woman. And once again, this is what Hollywood does to us. It puts us in a situation where the black male, black female, they are one another's antagonist, for lack of better terms for me to use right now. They don't connect. They don't jive together. And she's sitting there and he's using babe, hey babe, and he's saying this. And he's saying certain things to her. I think he even tries to reach out to her hand and she pulls away. And she doesn't even have a word to say to him. She just once he's finished talking, she just gets up and rolls out. She takes her overweight, heavy-set, brown-skinned son, dark-skinned son, and they walk out of the jail. Then they get home. She's at the house. And all they want to show you is that this kid is sitting on the couch. Again, he looks like he's even slower than Forrest Gump as well. And he's just sitting there eating chocolate bars. Just eating a bunch of chocolate bars. And this kid is about 300 pounds. And then she gets on him and calls him fat and starts beating on him. And then she goes in his room and finds a stash of, it looked like he had done with trick-or-treating in the middle of the summertime. He got a stash of candy bars and cookies underneath his bed. Probably a donut was in there. Probably a whole 7-Up pound cake was probably in that damn bed. She done put up so much food. And that's when she starts pounding on him and calling him all kind of fat names. So once again, I'm pointing to illustrate this. It's a fat black, I'm telling you, they're always going to cripple a black male in a movie. He's either going to be castrated, like Grey Worm in Game of Thrones, or he's not going to have working legs. Like if you've seen that movie Life with Ryan Reynolds in it, when they go to space and find that little alien and they name him Calvin, you got a black man in space who got little legs. I mean, these legs look like toothpicks. His legs don't work. They always make something wrong with crippled with a black man. He's either homosexual or he's severely obese. And here's another crippling thing. They made this child obese in this movie. I'm just trying to figure out what was the need for it. So let's fast forward through this movie. Now, Halle Berry, she's working her job, and ultimately her son gets, well, first let's deal with this. The execution. So they execute a black man in the movie, Sean Combs. They execute his character. So they execute the black woman's baby daddy. So they clearing the black man out of her life so that she can be with the white man. Let's get this clear. So the black man gets executed. Her baby daddy, she didn't have any love for him anyway. They already wrote that in the movie. So now, later on in the movie, she's walking with her son down the road in the middle of the night because the car breaks down. And her son gets hit by a car, a passing car, and he dies. They take him to the hospital. And guess who finds, when he gets hit and laying on the side of the road, it's Billy Bob Thornton's character that drives by and is the knight in shining armor that helps her get the son to the hospital. I do believe it was that. I do believe that was the case. And he helped get him to the hospital where the son dies. Now her son is out of her life. Then got black man number 2. They done freed this black woman up to be with the white man. And so now she has a dead baby daddy and a dead son, all in a matter of probably about couple of days. So there's nothing left for her to do, but now she's at her waitress gig. And guess who comes into the restaurant? Billy Bob Thornton. And he helps her out. He takes her around. I think he gives her some money. Now that's the white man being the provider for the black woman. He's providing for her. He's showing compassion for her. They're talking in the movie. He's being an ear for her to listen to. And then all of a sudden they go to the store, get some drinks. And they go back to his place. No, they go back to her place. They go back to her place. They're in the house sitting down on the couch, and here it comes. Here it comes about halfway into this movie, about an hour in, about 50-something minutes to an hour, 5 minutes into this movie. They're sitting on the couch. She's talking about how fat her kid was, and she was trying to tell him he can't be a fat kid in America being black. And so she's talking, and then all of a sudden, I guess the drinks start working on her. She's feeling good. So she turns to Billy Bob Thornton and says, "You know what I want you to do? I want you to make me feel good. Make me feel good. Make me feel good." And that's exactly the way she said it. I'm not trying to be funny here. I know I sound stupid. She sounds stupid in the movie. Make me feel good. And while she's saying it, she's pulling on her little halter top, her little tank top, pulling her titty out, pulling her breast. Should I say breast? She's pulling her breast out. Got the brown nipple out. Make me feel good. Throwing it in his face. She sounds demonic. I honestly thought when this thing started, because I told y'all, they always love showing black women having savage sex, like savage jungle sex with white men. They do it every time. I honestly thought Morris Day and the Times Jungle Love was going to start playing when this scene started. My jungle love, oh we oh, girl I got to show you. I could have sworn that they was going to just start playing Jungle Love as the theme music for this. And so she rips off, she just literally slides off of the couch, gets into the doggy style position. This movie was literally a soft porn. It had one soft porn scene in it. I'm telling you, she had that titty out, she had that nipple out, that breast, and then she slid off that couch and got immediately into the doggy position with that little skirt on. I don't know who hiked the skirt up, but the skirt is all you see is a G-string and butt cheeks. And then all you see is Billy Bob Thornton slide right behind her, and now he's smacking them cheeks. And then they showing her, then they showing a bird, then they flash back to her again, then they showing the bird, and then he flip her over again, and he flip her. This was a literal soft porn scene. And then, after that scene goes by, I guess eventually she's going to find out. Another spoiler alert. But you don't need to see this movie. I've already done told you what the movie was about. Then, towards the end of the movie, I think she finds out because she finds one of the drawings that her husband had done, or I shouldn't say husband, her baby daddy. Who knows what this man was to her, because she damn sure didn't show any love to him. She finds one of Sean Combs' drawings in Billy Bob Thornton's on his person. I think either in his car or in his house or somewhere. And so she realizes that, I guess he had some type of involvement at the prison with, the execution. But outside of that didn't affect the relationship. They just kept it moving. And in the end, the movie just went off with them going off into the sunset, sitting in that little country ass house, that little country ass town, living their little poor, mediocre country ass lives. And it didn't bother her at all. So it doesn't bother you that two black men, number one, black man is just a criminal again in a movie, executed. They execute the black man, execute her son, and she has no problem being with the white man. She didn't even interact with Yasin Bey. He wasn't even an option for her. He wasn't even an option for her. When I say Yasin Bey, I'm talking about Mos Def. His character didn't even they didn't even have a scene together. But that's my whole point when I'm doing these Hollywoods in black and white. They do not want to show black love in movies. If you turn on TV, because I know there's a lot of black people out there who want to defend the white man. Yo, you get plenty of black love. Didn't you watch Family Matters? You get a television show once in a lifetime. You may get Cosby Show in the 80s, Family Matters in the 90s, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in the 90s as well. You get 2 or 3 shows that show black love, but when you turn on a major motion picture movie, you are not going to see it. If it's written by white folks and the budget is over $50 million and they done spent money on this movie and they have white writers, they're not going to put a black male in the movie. If they do, they're going to give him a white love interest. Bad Boys, the first Bad Boys. They paired Will Smith up with a white girl. It was like, why? Why couldn't she have been black? They always have to water us down when we're on screen. And they don't realize the social problems that blacks have with one another. They don't care. You can go on YouTube right now and find 1 billion channels, and that's an exaggeration, but you can find plenty of content where black women are making videos about deleting, as they're saying now, and or terminating pregnancies of black boys if they find out the gender of the child, and not bringing any more black children into the world, or continually showing videos of black men doing something negative because they hate black men now, because of Kevin Samuels making videos about correcting black behavior from black women to try to bring black love back into the American culture, because we've turned our backs on one another. And I'm not blaming any one side. I'm not blaming black women. I'm not blaming black men. Everyone has a part in it. But again, I'm going back to the original video that I made of racism is not our problem to solve. Racism was never black people's problem. That is white people's problem. And they're trying to use interracial sex scenes, sex movies, and showing black people and white people just sexing each other up to cure racism. But all of that's doing is causing blanqueamiento, as they would say, Henry Louis Gates would say. It's the whitening. They don't want to see a black person on a screen. They don't want to see black love. So white people they fight that battle by saying, well, just pair the black girl with a white man. Just pair the black guy up with a white woman. And they rarely do that. They don't want to do that anymore. They've pivoted towards black women getting all of the roles and being with a white man. And you barely even see a black man anymore. But this is the movie, Monsters Ball. Not worth seeing in my opinion. You can go check it out if you want, because I know some of y'all want to see it. Where? Ooh, I want to see Halle Berry with a white man. Ooh, I got to see this. Go ahead and do it. I gave you the movie. You want to see it? Go see it. But I saw it for you so you wouldn't have to do that to yourself. But this is the Political Brown Kid. I'm going to sign off, but I hope everyone's well. Have a great day and do something productive. Again, hit the like button. Please subscribe, because I'm going to continually drop content like this, Hollywood in black and white, but I'm also just going to be talking about other socioeconomic issues that impact African Americans and sometimes that just impact society in general. But this is the Political Brown Kid. Be well.